Howdy, everyone. Thank you for watching this live stream when it gets posted, post live stream, I suppose. Just a couple of things to say. Obviously, if any of you are in need of any of my help whatsoever, check out the links that will be down below in the description. They'll take you to my website where you can see the services I offer. Don't forget to like and comment on this live stream just to get it pushed out more. More people will be able to join or see the comments and everything, and it could really help some people out. Another thing as well for anyone watching this post, I'll probably say it again in a bit, but for the people watching this post, I'm starting up an email list because there's loads of benefits both to consumers and to me as a business for email lists, but also there's the element of if anything ever happens to the channel, I'll have you on my email list available for me to be like, oh, hey, by the way, start a new channel or whatever. So obviously, the email listing isn't going to be like me just asking for your email. There's actually something for it. So I have 3 worksheets available that you can choose from as a sort of a payment, I suppose you could say, for the email list. One of them is the Think, Feel, and Act sheet. One of them is the Core Belief sheet. And another one is a daily process sheet, which only a couple of people have actually seen. So yeah, if you're interested in being on the email list, if you could just email me at email my email, lawofassumptionsbackdoor@gmail.com and basically say your name, that you consent to being on an email list, and which one of the worksheets that you want. And it will just basically help you guys get notified when videos go out, when new services go out, when there's discounts out, when courses go out, as well as obviously if there's anything else that I need to update you on. And then it kind of just helps me with the building the business brand. So if you're interested in that, just drop me that email. That would be really helpful. I think that's everything out of the way. So now that that is, I'll start responding to some of the comments. So, hey, you're beautiful says good morning. Good morning to you too. Marianne says, hi, Matt. How are you? Glad to see you live again. I am very good. Thanks. How are you doing? And yeah, I'm aiming to do sort of a half an hour-ish length one live stream on every Tuesday, just because I've got loads to do on Tuesday. So I can't do like the full hour. And then obviously on the Saturdays, I'll continue to do the hour-long one. Apologies for the camera quality. My webcam camera that I use at the moment for live streams and video calls is very temperamental. So if I start setting up the live stream before it's plugged in, the YouTube doesn't recognize it. So I have to just use the standard grainy camera of the MacBook. But I am looking into getting a proper camera soon that will make my videos and live streams better quality. But I just got some other things to sort out first. But glad to see you here as well. And Jay says, hi, Matt. Howdy, Jay. Hope you're all good. But yeah, so just while I wait for like more comments and questions and stuff to come in, let's give you some updates on stuff. So I'm currently working on the Manifest Your SP back course. At this current moment in time, it is going to be, I think, 50 videos. I think I've got 50 videos. They're not all going to be like 15 minutes long. They'll probably be on average about anywhere between 3 to 6 minutes each, because they're like breaking down each individual thing. So there's literally going to be a video on how to create the right affirmation for it. How do you affirm? And then there's going to be a small video on like how do you script and stuff like that. And it's all going to be in relation to how you can do this to get your person back, or to get your person if it's a new person. There's about 50 videos at the moment that I have planned. I need to actually, record them. I'm thinking about doing some slides and some other stuff. So the course is coming along really well. The videos, I'm sort of working on more SEO stuff to get it boosted out to the algorithms. That's really cool. A couple more things have come in. Aditi says, hello, Matt. How are you? I'm very good. Thanks you. How are you? And Jesus Jonabi says, hi, Matt. How are you? I'm very good. Thanks. How are you? How to persist. Can you explain this and how to live as if our manifestation is here? So how to persist. This is an interesting question. There's 2 ways that you could mean how to persist. I'm going to answer both just to save the time of you re-commenting it, just in case you're busy at work or something. So if you mean persist as in quite literally, how do I just continue to do it? Obviously, that one comes down to that sort of self-discipline of, I know that I need to change my thoughts. So I know that I need to be persistent in changing my thoughts. So that's obviously the one way you need to just discipline yourself. Having timers and stuff can be really good for it. But how to persist in the perspective of actually persisting, you just got to do it. You just got to notice, right, I'm thinking the wrong thing. I need to flip that thought. Or, oh, I've got some time. I'm just going to do a couple of affirmations just to kind of keep me thinking in the right headspace, and then continue going like that. If you mean how to persist as in how to persist correctly in the overall process, because you also reference how to live in the end as if our manifestation is here. So I'm assuming that's what you meant, but I thought I'd answer both just in case. How to persist. Are you thinking the right thing? You've got your end result. Doesn't matter what it is, but you've got your end result. Is what you're thinking, feeling, and acting like in this moment, are they in alignment with that end result? If yes, then you're persisting and well done. If no, what can you do to swap them? What could you be thinking instead? What could you be feeling instead? And how could you be acting instead? If you then notice it and change to be thinking, feeling, and acting more in alignment, that's all persisting is literally just a state of, I'm not thinking, feeling, and acting the right way. Let me flip that on its head and start thinking, feeling, and acting the right way. Because where your focus goes is where energy flows. So if you want to have faith in your if you want to have your desire, you have to have faith that you are going to receive it by flipping your thoughts and such. And that in and of itself is the persistence. As you said, how to live as if our manifestation is here. You don't necessarily have to live like it. If you mean, like, for example, if you've got a specific person, you haven't got to put out an extra plate every time you have dinner or something like that. Obviously, those little things are really good for sort of preparing your mind for them coming back. So you can do that if you want to, but that isn't like an absolute necessity. You don't have to go pretending like they're there, but you just can't see them all the time. But to live, how do we live as if our manifestation is here? You just have to perceive things the way that you would if they were here. So when you see your bed empty, for example, you don't go, oh, that's because they broke up with me. You just see it as an empty bed and they'll be in when they're finished brushing their teeth or something like that. You know, you just see, you perceive the world that you're experiencing differently, and your thoughts and feelings and actions must, like I said, all be in alignment with that end result. So are you thinking the right thing? If you're thinking as though you are in a relationship with this person, that is you living from the end. Are you saving memes to show them on your phone later? That is you living from the end, because in your mind they're with you. So therefore, that's why you're doing this action. And that is all that's necessarily living as if our manifestation is here. It's just, what would you be doing if they were here? Great. Now do that, you know? Marianne says, I have a question. So I've been doing affirmations every day as I don't have a journal yet to start scripting. And last night I had a dream about my SP. The dream was we got into a fight, but then we was okay and we went out with his friend. Do you think this is a sign of movement? Okay, so I personally don't think dreams are anything to really go by. I know a lot of people will say that, you know, dreams are signs, dreams are evidence, dreams are it on its way. If you want to believe that, fine. And if you feel like that dream is movement, great, continue to persist in seeing it as movement. But the reason that I don't see dreams to mean anything, the same reason I don't see signs particularly to mean anything, is because they're not the end result. You know, they're not my person is here or my job is here or my car is here or whatever. They're not the end result. Therefore, they require none of my focus. So even if dreams do mean things, there is no point in giving it attention. Like I referenced in the video a couple of days ago, that Bible verse where it's like, when you whatsoever things you want, when you pray, believe you've received it and you shall have it. In none of that does it say, you know, there's a sign and you need to make sure that you work with that sign, or you had a dream. That means you need to work out what the dream means or anything like that. It literally just says, when you do your imaginary scenes, believe it's done and it will be done. And that obviously means, are you imagining the right things? Yes, great. Believe it's done and it will be done. Are you not? Change that. Believe it's done and it will be done. And it, dreams, signs, all of that lot don't mean anything because that's not the end result. So like I said, if you want to believe that that's a good sign for you, great. I'm not going to tell you not to, but I personally don't think dreams are anything to consider because they're not my end result. And you'll find that you have a lot more success in manifestation overall when the end result is your focus and not all the little things in between. Anand says, hey, Matt, howdy, Anand. Aditi said, if you want your SP to behave a certain way and you just want to live in the end, how to be with him in our 3D world when they are not yet doing what we want. So it's a state of not really acknowledging that they're not doing what you want. So obviously, like I said a second ago, it'll be your actions and stuff. Obviously, you can't go and be the most lovey-dovey person in the world if they're not reflecting that. But for example, if they're not let's just say they're behaving 5 out of 10 and you want them to act 10 out of 10, you don't sit there and keep acknowledging, oh, they're still 5 out of 10. They're still 5 out of 10. What are they going to do? How do I deal with this? You simply just act as if you normally would, live your life the way that you normally would, while in your mind seeing them to be acting that 10 out of 10, because it's your perception and awareness like that obviously matter. And I know people will be like, oh, but there's techniques and stuff like that. Techniques help you get into the right state, which is where your awareness and perception will put you anyway. So they all kind of go hand in hand. But it's your perception and awareness that creates the reality that you experience. Are you perceiving him as acting 5 out of 10? If yes, you will forever keep receiving that. Are you perceiving him as acting 10 out of 10? If he's currently acting 5 out of 10, but you're perceiving a 10 out of 10, that will eventually come into fruition. And it's not that you have to like walk with a blind eye, like you can't see anything. It's just a case of seeing the 3D for what it is and then moving on from it and choosing to dwell up here as opposed to what's going on out there. Everyone has a choice. Everyone has the capability to walk away from something if it's not doing well for them. So if they're acting a 5 out of 10 and you really hate it, take that step back and just choose to see them as that 10 out of 10 until they come into fruition in that way. But it's a case of how you are perceiving them. Dante says, hi, Matt, how to soothe yourself when I feel bad, or soothe myself when I feel bad. When you feel bad, I don't know why you'd feel bad. You haven't like stated whether or not it's like manifestation or just general life or anything, but 99% of the time, when I feel bad, I just go and do the things that I enjoy. You know, like if like Kate and I have an argument, or if work's particularly shit, or if I don't have like the greatest coaching session, because sometimes that happens, I don't sit there and dwell on it and like keep reminding myself, because when you feel bad, it's because you're thinking of the past. You cannot feel bad in this present moment if you're focusing on something in this present moment, you know? And I know a lot of people will be like, oh no, that's not true, because I can still feel bad right now, because you're still allowing the past to fall into what's going now. So I like to go and do the things that I enjoy. I'll literally just drop everything. I'm like, right, I'm going to the gym. Right, I'm going to go do metal vocals. Right, I'm going to play a game on my phone, play some Xbox, or like, you know, like I'll just choose something that I enjoy and I'll just place my focus in it. So if I'm playing Xbox, I'll literally think about what I'm doing. I'll really dwell in what I'm doing at the moment. If I'm at the gym, I'll really focus on each like rep, like the individual muscles, just so that my mind is constantly on something in this moment that I enjoy. Because sadness, depression, all of that stuff comes from the past, like thinking about what's happened or what could have happened or so on and so forth. Excitement, fear, anxiety, all of that lot come from the future. You're worrying about what's to come. So if your mind is in this present moment, neither fear nor sadness or any of those kind of emotions can exist, because your mind is occupied in this present moment. So when I feel bad, I like to go and do something that I really enjoy and really focus on it in the moment. I don't like play Xbox and go blank and kind of think about what's happened while doing it, because that just defeats the purpose of doing something that I enjoy. Jesus Joe Nabby says, thank you. You're very welcome. Marianne says, okay, thank you, Matt. You're also very welcome. Natalia, I think that says, Matt, can you talk about the concept of occupying a state of being? Need tips on shifting from an undesirable state, thoughts, behaviors, what to practice, etc. Yeah, absolutely. So your state of being is okay. So your state dictates your thoughts, feelings, and actions. We know this. If we're feeling particularly low for whatever reason, we're going to have low thoughts, low feelings, and we're probably going to take actions that come from a very desperate place. However, you are in control of your brain and not the other way around. So your state may dictate the way that you think, feel, and act, but you can consciously think, feel, and act in a different way. Now it goes in roundabouts. So if you're thinking, feeling, and acting in a certain way, that must mean that it's putting you in a state of that certain way. You know, you can't think like a rich person, feel like a rich person, and act like a rich person and still be in the state of being poor. It physically cannot happen, because your state is dictated by your thoughts, feelings, and actions, just like your thoughts, feelings, and actions are dictated by your state. It's kind of like a weird little, it's not really a paradox, it makes sense, but you know what I mean? It's kind of like a paradox. So in your question, can you talk about the concept of occupying a state of being? Do you know what state of being you want to occupy? I'm assuming yes. So let's use that example of being the rich. You are currently not so rich, maybe, and you want to step into that state of being rich. How does a rich person think, feel, and act? Write it all out if you need to. Obviously, the worksheet that I referenced at the beginning, I don't know if you were in the stream at the time, but the worksheet that I have that I referenced at the beginning is available for that. Work out how you would think, feel, and act. And then when you notice yourself thinking, feeling, and acting like the poor person, consciously start feeling, thinking, feeling, and acting like the rich person, and you will enter that state of being. Or if it's a person, if you think, feel, and act the way that you would if you were single, start thinking, feeling, and acting in the way that you would if you were in a relationship. And this will dictate the state that you're in. Just like techniques, you can just simply affirm or visualize or script, and that will put you in a different state. The only problem with that kind of stuff, and you'll probably see this a lot in comments, people say that they feel amazing when doing their techniques, but as soon as they stop doing them, that's when they start to feel shit again, because they are them momentarily stepping into the state by doing the technique, but then not knowing how to continue in that state. So when they're done doing the technique, they just go right back to the original them. So if you want to occupy a new state of being, you need to understand the way that someone already in that state of being would occupy it, and then consciously occupy it in that way. Marianne says, I woke up and saw a lot of magpies this morning, all in pairs, and apparently that's meant to be good luck. So I have much hope, so much hope today and positivity. That's really good. I'm hoping that all of it comes to fruition and you have a great day. Didi says, so in my case of a certain SP behavior, how do I live in the end? By just reminding myself of how perfect he is and how he is behaving exactly how I want by scripting and visualizing. Yes, sort of. So like I just said for the person before, scripting and visualizing are great. But if as soon as you're done doing them, you then step right back into the state of, oh, he's not doing this, he's not doing that, I'm going to dwell on the way that he is acting and such, you're just going right back to square one. So that will be a good start for sure, scripting and visualizing him to be the way that you want him to be. But the other thing that you'll want to do is to stop perceiving him to be such a way in those moments. So if you're scripting and visualizing at night, he's a 10 out of 10 behavior wise. And then during the day, he starts acting like a 5 out of 10 still because you're waiting for the 3D to conform. But then you start going, oh, why does he still act as a 5 out of 10? I did my visualization. I did this. Why are you still doing this? I'm going to comment this. I'm going to be like this. I'm going to be like this. If you're constantly doing that, you're going to be just the same in the state of him being a 5 out of 10 as you are you're still going to be more dominantly in the state of him acting like a 5 out of 10 because you're over dwelling on it, you're over associating, you're overly allowing it to consume you, and you're needing him to change to validate yourself. So yes, the scripting and visualization is half of it, but it's also accepting the 3D for what it is in the moment, but choosing a different outcome. So maybe in the moment when he's acting a 5 out of 10, you can say, I see he's being a 5 out of 10 because this is all old story playing out, but I know that he's a 10 out of 10 because of XYZ. And then you name what it is that you want him to do as if he's already doing it. And what this will be doing is it'll be accepting the 3D for what it is, and you're not turning a blind eye to it, but you're choosing a different outcome. If you can stay consistent in this and persist in that kind of attitude towards the way that he's behaving, that will be how you get him to shift. Emma says, can you talk about manifesting a physical appearance change like eliminating acne? So it'd be the same as basically anything else. You got your end result. You have, I'm assuming, an image in your mind or like a rough idea of what you'd want to become without the acne or how you'd look or so on and so forth. And it would be literally just stating to yourself that you are already like that. It's claiming yourself to already be like that. When you look in the mirror, you don't look and start to see if the acne is gone. You don't look in the mirror and start to say, oh, why is it not gone? Instead, you look in the mirror and say, wow, look how amazing my skin is. Look how amazing this change. Obviously, you say acne here, but the same thing would apply for anything. Look how amazing this physical appearance change of mine, obviously insert whatever it is that you're changing, looks. I feel so good about myself. And it's going through that way and taking on the version of yourself that would feel that way. For example, if you were, um, I've never had acne, so I actually don't know how people act, so I might get this completely wrong. But like, let's say, for example, you wanted to wear certain makeup to cover it more. Maybe you'll go out one day with less makeup on, under the pretenses of I don't have acne, so therefore I don't need to wear as much. Like I have perfectly clear skin, therefore I can get away with going out more natural than usual and then do that. I obviously, like I said, I've never had acne before, so I don't know if that's actually how people will act. But it's the pretense of I have clear skin, therefore I can do this. Even if you don't still have clear skin at that current moment, at least the action of doing it is thinking from the perspective of having clear skin. I know Katie referenced this in one of the most recent streams where she said that she sometimes wants to take an outfit off because she feels like it doesn't look the way that she'd want it to, but she deliberately keeps it on and goes out with it under the pretense of, nope, I look amazing, so why would I take this off? And she finds that helps her like a whole lot. Aditi said, miss Katie today, but let her know she's being missed. Hee. So yeah, so Katie's at work at the moment. Is actually one of the reasons why I chose a Tuesday as well. So she's there on the Saturday, and I know a lot of people absolutely love having her there, and she can give a lot of like useful thoughts and tips and stuff that maybe I miss because I obviously think quite logically about it, whereas she thinks about it in like the sort of broader scale of emotions and stuff. If you're in my most recent stream, obviously I said that living via emotions is not the way to live at all, but having an outlook via emotions is definitely a good thing to add into the process. But I thought at the same time, I can just do a short half an hour one here for anyone that might not be able to make the Saturday ones, because I know that they're like 12 o'clock for people in India. So I think it's India. So the time scale there is like really bad for some people. So I thought if I do it earlier on the Tuesday with just me and do a shorter one, all the people that can't come on the Saturdays can join, and then obviously we'll have her for the Saturday one and have like the big one where everyone gets really extensive answers. I also do kind of prefer the setup for this stream. I prefer being on like my actual chair with the spare monitor here and this here. So although I do love doing the streams on the Saturdays with Katie, it's definitely a lot more comfortable for me to do it on the Tuesdays on my own because I can actually sit with my proper setup. Boops a Daisy says, love your channel. You've helped me to shift my thinking for a better life. Thank you. You're very welcome. I'm glad to help. And I see that you're also a member as well. So thank you so much for supporting the channel. Hopefully you're enjoying the members only videos. I'm still trying to find my footing with them, like how I want to record them, how I want them to sort of be presented. So yeah, any feedback on them would be really, really helpful. Dante says, thank you. I'm glad that I found your channel. I'm glad you found my channel as well. You'd be surprised just how much of a difference one extra like on a video makes, or like one extra comment, or even just having people here in these live streams. Just, you might ask a question. I don't know if you, oh yeah, you asked the Soothe yourself. You might ask a question that someone else didn't really know they needed the answer to, but then when I answered a question, that might sort of click in their brain. So literally, the more people we can get on this channel, the bigger the community, the more it really makes a difference. So even though I have 4,000 odd people that subscribe to the channel, every single one of you brings your own specific value, and I want you all to know that. Aditi says, yes, this sounds about perfect. Good. I'm glad to hear it. And Emma says, what are you currently manifesting? Okay, so this is quite an interesting question, actually. I'm going to let you in a little something. At this current moment in time, I am manifesting a little bit more money. Now, the reason, well, there's other things, but that's like the main one. The reason being is I kind of made a boo-boo, and I I did something that I literally, and this is one of the reasons why yesterday's video went out. I actually did something, and the example of it I did myself. So as you all know, this is my first month of going fully self-employed. I decided to save back about £600 in December, just in case, just in case the month didn't go the way that it should. And obviously, being after Christmas and stuff, a lot of people get, especially in the UK, I don't know if this is the same everywhere, but in the UK, people get paid early. So January is a very bad month. So going self-employed in a January, obviously this is based on my assumption, but I always remember struggling during January. So I just assumed that everybody else would as well. Going self-employed in a January is not particularly that good of an idea when you have a bedded in assumption that January is not a good month for people financially. So I saved back the money to just make sure that I got through the month. In my video yesterday, if you haven't watched it after the stream, go check it out. I think it's probably one of my best videos in terms of like structure and the way that it's presented. But I actually used a reference of, if you save back money just in case the month sucks, then you're basically preparing for the worst. That is exactly what I did. And this month has actually been my worst month financially. And I know I'm reaffirming it, but I also have faith in everything working out. So I'm just telling you for the sake of this. This has actually been my worst month financially from the business perspective since pretty much like March last year. Now, I am just basing it on the fact that it's January and stuff, and I've had like 3 clients today alone, which has been the most for pretty much the entire month. So I think it's now that people are going to start getting closer to the end of the month, I'll get more clients, and obviously everything will be fine. But I'm currently working on money because I have a family to provide for, and having a low month is not good. So that's kind of the main focus at the moment. So don't prepare for the worst, because you will receive the worst. And I am literally living proof of that. This is my success story, that if you prepare for the worst, you'll receive it. But the other thing I'm working on is, I'm obviously in a band, and we've been working on the EP for about 2 years. The only reason it's been so long is because we started it during COVID, so we could only, like, we had to wait a while before I could even go to them to do stuff. And then there was just big old issues and every blah 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 blah. And they are in London, and I'm like quite far from London, so it's about 2 hours there and 2 hours back. And I know people from America, a 2-hour journey is nothing, but for us in the UK, that's quite long to do there and then back in the same day. So our EP is coming along, and I'm sort of manifesting that this year is the year, and I'm manifesting living in a new home, because this house is, well, it's not too bad, but I really want a spare room so I can have like an actual setup, because here is like my bedroom desk. So I have the camera here, and I record backwards so you can see like the books and the shelves and stuff. And we painted this gray, but I would really like to have like an actual setup where like the ring light doesn't move, or like I can have it literally like a nice background that's like an entire wall, because at the moment in the stream obviously you see all of like the photos and like kids sticker charts and shit, and then when I face it that way, you can sort of see the door here, and it's just there. So I'm really working on getting like a new place so that I can actually have a nice setup, and I can get a nice camera, and I can do that like really well, like high quality dimmed lighting, but like quite nice imagery on me with the blurred background kind of stuff, just because I feel like even if the content of a video is really good, you will not get as much retention and this is probably just my assumptions, but you will not get as much retention or attention from people if the imagery isn't all that. If you've got like a blurry camera or like the background's really messy and stuff, people just think that you're someone that's picked up a camera and recorded, and it kind of has that psychology of they don't know what they're talking about. Whereas if you've got that really nice background with the really high camera quality, really good audio, retention is so much higher. So that's kind of my end result. So those are the three things that I'm focusing on at the moment. We've got about 5 minutes and I'm going to have to start heading off, but Magic in the Wild puts a couple of emojis, which are really nice. Thank you very much for that. Marianne said, that's a good quote. If you prepare for the worst, you will receive it. Absolutely. Don't prepare for the worst. Trust me, prepare for the best. Rohan says, what will be your schedule of affirming and visualization if you go for appearance change, SP, and self-concept with a preference to SP? So if that was me, what I would do is I would sort of take maybe 15 minutes. So obviously you got 3 sections there. 15 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes for each. I know you said the preference to be self SP, but your preference should always, in my opinion, be yourself. The better you see yourself, the easier it will be for you to have the opinion that other people will see you better. And obviously everyone as you pushed out means that they will also have that same perception of you. But I would do 15 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes for each category, and then 15 minutes in the evening, 5 minutes for each category, just before you go to sleep. Those would what I would be like definitely doing, like basically a must. And then as you go through the day, if you have thoughts regarding any topic, make sure that they're flipping to the how you'd want them to be. So if your self-concept comes to mind or your appearance comes to mind, make sure you're flipping the thought to be in line with what you actually want. And then if you find you have sort of time during the day that's spare, like 15 minutes or so, you could do another sort of 5 minutes for each category. Obviously, you said that you want SP to be the preference. So I would say split that up to be to the ratio percentage of what you would actually want to focus on. But that's kind of what I would do. 50 minutes in the morning, 50 minutes in the evening, all throughout the day. Make sure you're flipping the thoughts if they come up. And if you have time where you're not really doing a lot, then you can do like another quick 15 minutes or whatever of a bit of affirming. Emma says, do you have kids? Yes, 2. Little bastards. Not joking. They're good kids, but same with any kids. They can be a handful sometimes. I need to stop affirming all these negative things. Maybe I should do the Tuesday live streams. I seem to talk a whole lot of bad stuff about my own life. Oh, what have I done? I must just put someone in a timeout. Nearly. Marianne says, with your new channel name that you previously said about on your other live, will you be speaking about affirmations, visualizations, etc.? Okay, so with the new channel name that I was referencing in the other live, it's literally going to be talking about consciousness as a whole. And the thing is, it will include some law of attraction stuff, some law of assumption stuff, well, mostly law of assumption stuff, because I do still stand by law of assumption to be sort of like the best way, or at least in my experience, it's the best way to actually get the life that you want. But not law of attraction as in like the way that they talk about it, but it's just sort of some things that law of attraction include in their videos that a lot of law of assumption people kind of try to avoid. If I feel like it's something that's worth taking into consideration, like for example, the map of consciousness, which is all about the vibrational frequencies. Now, I don't believe you need to match the vibrational frequency of love in order to receive love. But I do think that if you live your life from a place of unconditional love, you will be rewarded with such. Now, it's not to say that you have to match the vibration. I still think that you need to be in the state of having. But coming from, let's say you're affirming from a place of love for your person is going to be a much more effective than affirming from a place of fear. So that's kind of what I mean. I want to talk about things that may come up in other sections of like LOA community stuff, but not have people go, oh, that's not law of assumption, you shouldn't be doing that, which I've had in the past, which is just really frustrating. And it kind of shows a bit of like it shows how the community can be a little bit iffy. But yeah, so that's what it's going to be about. I actually do talk about affirmations and visualizations and stuff in this channel. At the moment, I am kind of focused on getting people to understand the bedrock of it so that they can build that like understanding up so that they can go forward more clearly. But if you guys want me to do more specific videos, by all means, comment them below in like the videos that I do. If you want me to do a video about making the perfect affirmation, more than happy to do so. If you want me to make a video where I give you a visualization that you could do, or a guided visualization and Katie can voice it or something, by all means, let me know. But the new channel name is going to be, I'm thinking at the moment, Mind Over Matter, because obviously the mind over matter is in matter being a 3D. So it's your mind control over that. But also I do talk a lot about discipline and, pushing through when you don't want to and stuff, which I would feel is also mind over matter, So it's kind of like a double, not entendre, it's not really the term I'm thinking of, but it's got like a double meaning to it. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, but it will be everything consciousness related, which includes techniques and stuff like that. Emma says, how do you know if you have a high self-concept or that your self-concept is improving? If you have a high self-concept, you'll kind of just feel like everything works out in your favor. People will treat you amazingly. People will like really look up to you and such. And if it's improving, kind of look back over maybe a week ago or a month ago or so and see, do you genuinely feel like people are treating you better now or feel better about yourself now than you did back then? And that's kind of how you can roughly tell. Marianne says, and meanings behind things. I'm assuming that's what you meant with the new channel. Like I said, if any video requests that you have, I would say probably comment them on a normal video, because the live stream, these comments that are put here in the live stream as the stream is live don't translate over. If you comment on this live stream once it gets posted, then obviously it'll stick. But I've got very bad memory. Again, another negative affirmation. So I'll probably forget that you asked for a video about the perfect affirmation unless it's actually in a comment, because I go back through comments to see if people have requested specific videos. If we could all stop the comments for now, unless like you've got an absolute burning question, because I got some other stuff to do. I have like you can't really see it, but I have a daily schedule that I have to kind of fit in. Rohan says, thank you, sir. You're very welcome. Kumo says, what's up, man? Howdy, howdy. What do you think letting go makes people... Why do you think letting go makes people's desires manifest faster? For years, I've been wondering about this because it works every time for me. Okay, so I actually have a short going out today or tomorrow or the day after. I have a short coming up very soon, which explains this as well. So it's actually quite interesting that you should ask this question. So the reason why letting go helps is because it brings in the element of indifference. When you're indifferent about an outcome, you are no longer in need of it. If I was to sit here and affirm I have £10,000, but I need that money, compared to someone sitting here affirming just as much as me that they need £10,000, but they don't need the money, they're just chill and relaxed about it. What's more likely to happen? The needy person being in the state of actually having the £10,000 that they're affirming for, or the person that doesn't really care all that much when they say that they affirm for it? When they affirm for it. It's more than likely going to be the person that doesn't care. This is kind of why, at the same time as letting go and getting the results, you'll find that things that you don't care about manifest way faster. You might have a thought about a song, and then later on that day you'll hear it. But then if you were to have a thought about receiving £10,000, you may not, and it's because of like the difference in need for it. So it's not that you actually need to let go in order to manifest faster. It's just being indifferent to the outcome. It actually talks about it in Florence Scovel Shinn's book, The Game of Life and How to Play It. I've got the collection version, so it's got like all of her books. But in The Game of Life and How to Play It, she references the law of indifference and basically says when you're indifferent on an outcome, you are no longer like holding it away from yourself. Because when you need something, you're essentially chasing it. And when you chase something, because of the law of balance, that thing must run away from you, which is why people that are very, very needy and desperate don't get their desires. But the people find that when they quit or give up or whatever, or just become indifferent, get theirs. It's because when you're indifferent, you're no longer chasing. You're more sort of, I don't want to say attracting, because you're not really attracting, but you're taking that step back. And because you step back, that must mean that your desire must step forward. So that's often why when you stop caring or when you become indifferent to it, it manifests faster, because you haven't got that need. You're not chasing, you're allowing yourself to be chased. Marianne said, yes, a video on a perfect affirmation. Okay, I'll try to remember that. I'll probably watch the stream back later just to see if there's anything, but I should remember that. Hey, You're Beautiful says, that's a great channel name, and I'm looking forward to the new content. Thank you very much. Like, the content won't drastically change. It's not like all of a sudden I'm just going to completely shift, but it'll be like in a video when I'm talking about the perfect affirmation, for example, I might reference that it's good to have an element of bringing the love into your affirmation, because it helps you be on a higher state of consciousness, as referenced by the map of consciousness. And I'll go into those references because, yeah, like I said, I've had people literally say to me, oh, that's not law of assumption, that's law of attraction. And it's like, okay, but what does that mean? That you want to come from fear? Does that mean that what I've said holds any like lack of credibility if I say come from love instead of fear? That kind of stuff. So it's just kind of to nullify people thinking that I'm only law of assumption. It's like if anyone ever makes a comment that kind of goes against Neville Goddard, I know Sammy a while back said that that Neville Goddard was just a person and he had his own limiting beliefs, and a whole bunch of people blew up. And I completely agree. You know, Neville Goddard was just a person, just like you and I, who had an amazing understanding of it. Absolutely. And I'll never discredit his understanding or knowledge, but he was just a person with his own emotions, with his own logical reasoning and stuff. So the idea of him having no limiting beliefs whatsoever is like, it's a bit of a fruitless idea. So when she said that, everyone exploded because it's going against Neville Goddard, and it's like, no, it's just having an opinion. So that's kind of why I'm doing it. But the content won't drastically change. There'll just be a few more references to things that might be outside of law of assumption, but nothing that will confuse you. I'm not going to sit there and go, you need to be in the vibrational state in the same video as I say you need to be in the end result. You know, I'm not going to confuse, I'm just going to reference. Magic in the Wild says, I feel more at peace. I think this is a sign of my ST is improved. That's definitely a good sign. If you feel more at peace, then yeah, you're definitely on the right path. And Marianne says, okay, thank you, Matt. We'll be looking forward to watch them. Great. I'm glad you will be. Rohan says, sir, also do some blogs on the other channel. Yes, I do need to start up the other channel. I'm just kind of at the moment getting into the flow of being full-time for this channel, and then I will be doing other videos for the other one. So I definitely will be going back to that. I actually have one of the other videos starting to be scripted for the other channel. I say starting to be, it's almost finished, but it's going to be a completely different video style. It's not going to be me talking to the camera. It's going to be me talking and recording it on my phone. And then I'm going to put those little like B-roll edits over it. And I'm trying something different, basically. But yeah, thank you everyone for showing up to today's live stream. If any of you missed the beginning where I said about the email list, essentially I'm creating an email list so that I can email you when long form videos go live, services are added, discounts are added, courses are added, all this kind of stuff. If for whatever reason anything ever happens to the YouTube channel, I have all of your emails available so that I can send you a thing saying, hey, channel got deleted or whatever. I know, preparing for the West. But here's my new channel that I've made if you all want to subscribe and stuff. So that's what the email list is for. If you're interested in being part of the email list, and I won't send any other emails outside of, you know, the content that we're talking about, drop me an email at lawofassumptionsbackdoor@gmail.com. And there's 3 worksheets, a core belief sheet, a think, feel, and act sheet, or a daily process sheet, which you can choose from as kind of like a payment or a reward or whatever you want to call it for being part of the email list. So if you are interested in being on that email list, just drop me an email and let me know your name, that you consent to be on the email list, and which one of the sheets you'd like. And yeah, everything will obviously be GDPR protected and such, but that's that. Magic in the Wild says, bye, Matt. Have a good day. You too. Thanks for your generosity and thoughtfulness in trying to be available for more time zones. You're very welcome. That's what I'm here for. Matt Schwartz says, hi, Matt. Howdy, howdy. Unfortunately, I am heading off now, so apologies you've missed it, but I will be live Saturday. And Magic in the Wild says, Matt or Matthew? So I go predominantly by Matt, but either or is absolutely fine. And Matt Schwartz says, don't forget to hit the like button. Yes, absolutely. Hit the like button. It helps get pushed out. Anyway, thank you everyone so much for showing up today. I really hope it was a useful live, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye. Where's my mouse?